Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to do something bold, I want to do something dangerous, which is I want to talk to you guys about why I believe we have grounds right now for a new thematic piece of writing when it comes to the story that we have now that Sarada has reawakened her Mangekyo Sharingan. You've heard all about Mitsuki being the moon to Boruto's sun, but we as Naruto fans know that there was another sun and moon dynamic between Naruto and Sasuke, the parents of Boruto and Sarada, the OG sun and moons for the Naruto story as we know it. So for today's newest Naruto Explained video, I wanted to dive deeper into how the future Hokage and future Shadow Hokage dynamic between Boruto and Sarada showcases a brand new sun and moon dynamic that makes the two get forecasted as equals in destiny, like Sasuke said when he stated that Boruto and Sarada were the keys to reversing what might be going on with omnipotence, potentially setting them up to be both of the vortexes in 2 Blue Vortex. As a quick reminder, the chapter review will be up on the channel. Chapter review editor did his thing on that, so check it out if you haven't already. Also, on my Anime Explained channel, we have a brand new anime's most wanted video that focuses on Cell from Dragon Ball, which I highly recommend. And if you're into One Piece, over on my Everything One Piece Explained channel, we have a brand new video breaking down the Pika Pika no Mi Devil Fruit. Both videos are safe for anime only fans, particularly One Piece fans, given where the anime is. I'll leave those in the end credits of this video if you want to check them out. Strongly recommend them if you do have time. So this is one of the most profound narrative shifts in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, and it perfectly embodies the next generation reinterpretation of the sun and moon destiny that Naruto and Sasuke once carried. So what we're going to do now is we're going to build this out step by step. First, we're going to start with why Boruto and Sarada are the new sun and moon. So we're going to map it out, showing how Boruto and Sarada are loosely paralleling Naruto and Sasuke, but with a twist that speaks to transcendence over repetition, which is one of the themes that we had from Boruto Part 1. So the dynamic, we have to start with the origin of the trauma itself. So for Naruto and Sasuke, Naruto was viewed as being a pariah because he had Kurama sealed inside of him, and Sasuke was the survivor of a genocide known as the Uchiha Massacre. Boruto and Sarada, Boruto was falsely branded as a killer, and the other one was born from a cursed clan. With the nature of power, Naruto and Sasuke, they were Asha and Inja reincarnations. They were destined to fight each other until the cycle of hatred was broken. However, with Boruto and Sarada, neither of them were reincarnations. Instead, they were seemingly chose by fate itself, according to what Sasuke was alluding to. Then you get into the symbolism. The sun is Naruto, the moon is Sasuke. Boruto, on the other hand, he is the moon because he has a fated burden, and Sarada is the sun, not just because of her eyes or the name of her Mangekyo Sharingan power, but also because she is a chosen protector. Then when you look at the main goal, Naruto and Sasuke, it was peace through a mutual understanding. That's part of why chapter 699 is so damn good. Then when you get into Boruto and Sarada, it's a restoration of truth and rebuilding trust. Then when you look at the key opposing forces, you had Kaguya, you had Madara, you had Obito. However, on Boruto and Sarada's side, you had Kawaki with his twisted sense of justice. You have Jura, you have omnipotence itself. That's part of the twist. Then when you get the relationship arc, you had Naruto and Sasuke, where it was friends turned into enemies and then brothers again. It came full cycle. Whereas with Boruto and Sarada, the trust, it was never broken. They were partners by choice. They are partners by love. Not saying romantic love, but they are partners by love. Then you get to their role in the system itself, the Naruto world system. Naruto and Sasuke were a product of destiny because of that fated burden of them being reincarnations. However, with Boruto and Sarada, they are rebels going against destiny's unfair rewriting. That destiny obviously being omnipotence. That is a big part of Boruto Part 1's theme, and even in 2 Blue Vortex. Breaking free of familiar bonds and expectations in order to walk your own path. Then you look at the inherited will. Naruto and Sasuke, because they are reincarnations of Asha and Indra, you can make the argument that a big chunk of their will that they got, it came directly from their predecessors in that reincarnation cycle. However, with Boruto and Sarada, that cycle breaks. Boruto got his from Sasuke as his teacher. Sarada got hers as being someone who looked up to Naruto. Spiritually and literally, that's where they inherited their will of fires that they have. Then you take this even further. You have Sasuke's gut feeling. It's a father's faith beyond memory. So in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, Chapter 5, Sasuke made one of the most emotionally loaded decisions in the entire series. It is building on what we had in Boruto Naruto Next Generation's Chapter 80. Despite omnipotence rewriting everyone's memories to believe that Boruto is the outsider and they are believing Kawaki's lie that Boruto killed Naruto, Sasuke went with his gut in Chapter 80, and he also went with his gut in Chapter 5. He protected Boruto. He's basically saying, if my instincts are right, you're the one who's going to save this world. You and Sarada are the key to ending whatever we have. And Sasuke was so willing to bet, based on how much Sarada awakening Mangekyo was able to convince him, that he basically laid down his life to ensure that bet would happen. Sasuke, who lost everything due to a twisted history, he feels the truth even when it's erased, even when his own mind is telling him he's making a terrible mistake. This matters because it frames Boruto as being the one who has the weight of this false world on him, just like Sasuke did with the Uchiha Massacre, and having to carry around that fake information and then having to carry around the truth afterwards. Then you had Sarada as the only one who was immune to that lie in this scenario. Obviously, Sumire is immune, but this video is about Sarada. She was protected by her love, by her willpower, and her inherited will from both of her parents, in my opinion. You have Sasuke's eye, basically. You have Sakura's spirit. This was Sasuke truly breaking the cycle for the next generation. He chose intuition and trust over cold, hard logic. It is a direct evolution from how his life was previously shaped by mistrust and by falsehoods. That is why anybody that says that Sasuke went out like a bitch, I strongly disagree with you, and I really think that you should reread Naruto and then go reread Chapter 80 and go reread Chapter 5 of 2 Blue Vortex and go reread this current chapter that just came out, because everything is directly connected. Ikimoto has a better grasp on the lore for Naruto than some of the people that are criticizing him, in my opinion. However, this brings us to undoing omnipotence and why Boruto and Sarada can do it. So here's the heart of the matter. Omnipotence is a rewritten world, but it's not just a genjutsu like people say. Momoshiki literally tells us this is not a genjutsu. Learning the truth does not make it reverse. It is a perception rewrite of reality. That is why Shikamaru could not remember the word omnipotence when trying to remember what Boruto told him when Boruto's being interrogated. This is what makes this so insidious, and more insidious than, say, the infinite Tsukuyomi. It didn't trap people. It made them believe that a lie was always the truth. In a lot of ways, this is worse than the infinite Tsukuyomi. At least in the infinite Tsukuyomi, as you're getting turned into a Zetsu, you're at least caught in a blissful dream life. With this, everything is being rewritten. As far as for who can fight it, as we've seen, it's not as simple as someone tells you the truth. You have to come to the conclusion yourself, and even things like passing out Boruto's baby photo is not enough. There needs to be a strong enough of an anchor, like we saw at Amato, where Amato goes, okay, Kawaki's got my ninja tech. I'm the only one who could have put it in him. He's got my daughter's DNA inside his karma seal. My memory's been altered. Amato walks with the perception he knows better. Shikamaru is trusting his gut, because large in part because he heard Amato make that confession, and Shikamaru is so much of a hater that he is fighting against it after hearing Boruto's explanation. Then with Sasuke, it obviously goes back to his daughter. This is the perfect duality, in my opinion, with Boruto, because he remembers the truth and he bears the consequences of it. And Sarada, whose love for Boruto basically defied the power of a god. That makes them a perfect yin and yang, a perfect duality. Look at it from these perspectives. As far as traits, with Burden, Boruto was branded a traitor by all. Sarada was chosen to see the truth. With the power source, Boruto had karma. If you take the anime into account, he has the Jogan. Most importantly, he has training from Kashin Koji. Sarada got the Mangekyo Sharingan, and that came with us seeing her will and her love and her grief and her trauma on full display. the destiny role, Boruto is being set up as the restorer of the future. Sarada is being set up as being the restorer of the trust. You might be going, what about trust? Gotta remember, how are they framing Sarada throughout all of Boruto Part 2 during that time skip between Part 1 and Part 2? People looked at her crazy, and Shikamaru flat out tells her, your Hokage dream is in danger because you're sticking up for a traitor. Then when you get into the symbolism, Boruto is the moon. He is a silent guardian of the night, whereas Sarada is the sun, that beacon that brings the truth and the light to the surface. As the emotional core, Boruto carries all this pain and solitude. It's something that Sumire has taken great notice of. With Sarada, she leads by holding others together. That's what she's attempting to try to do. That is her leadership style. She still has a way to go with it, but that's the part of a character arc. Then when you look at the connection of Sasuke, Boruto is Sasuke's student, but he's also an adopted son. With Sarada, she is Sasuke's daughter by blood, and she in so many ways is a moral successor to both Naruto and Sasuke. Then when you look at the role in the restoration process, Boruto is forging the path that the world is walking down. Even though he is not getting the credit for it, he is making that road. Sarada, as the next Hokage, will be the one who leads people back to it. They're not just like Naruto and Sasuke. They're what Naruto and Sasuke truly wanted to be, but they couldn't fully become because they were stuck in that reincarnation broken cycle for so long. With that narrative role, they are rewriting the legend itself that we know. Naruto and Sasuke, part of their story, a big chunk of it was that they were slaves to the reincarnation cycle until they were liberated. Their fight, it was prophesized. Their clash, it was destined. But again, they were liberated. With Boruto and Sarada, they reject prophecy. They are self-made. They are partners. They were never rivals. This shift, it is very crucial. Boruto and Sarada, they represent free will, a new kind of a sun and a moon who choose their own orbits. The only reason that they can undo omnipotence is because they are not bound to the same metaphysical chains as their predecessors. That is why Sasuke saying, I think you guys are the keys, are very important. Even if they themselves are not the ones that directly undo omnipotence, it's their actions that will get us that point. They don't fight for themselves. They're fighting to restore others' autonomy, the very essence of what Naruto and Sasuke for so long never truly had, until again they were liberated. There's another layer to this. This is also indirectly Sasuke's redemption when you look at it from this perspective. Sasuke couldn't stop the Uchiha massacre. He was a child. He couldn't stop Itachi's suffering, large in part because he didn't learn the truth about Itachi until after he died, but the point stands. He couldn't stop Madara's revival. He couldn't stop Naruto's exile when they were children, but he did one thing right. He trusted his gut when it came to Boruto and Sarada. The same way that Sasuke had once wanted to reach out to Naruto when they were kids, but he ignored his gut in that process, he chose to follow his gut here. That's leading the path to redemption for a guy that's never forgiven himself for his past life. He bet his life on the two of them. In doing so, he finally became the father to Sarada and the comrade to Naruto that he always wished that he had been for Naruto from the beginning. He had become the very thing that Itachi wanted him to be, a hero to the Leaf Village. Even with him being sealed away, his legacy lives on through them because of that sacrifice. A generation who does not need reincarnation or karma, not the karma seal, but karma itself to change the world. So in conclusion, I'll say this: Boruto and Sarada, they are the new sun and moon, but they are on their own terms. They are not cursed. They are not bound. They are liberators of fate itself. Fate in this case obviously being omnipotence. And when Sarada does become Hokage, and when Boruto does defeat Jiraiya, it will not just mark a new era, but a true end to the Naruto and Sasuke cycle. And this obviously will be a delayed payoff because you have to stop omnipotence first. Even if Jiraiya goes down before this, omnipotence itself has to be reversed to get us to this connection. It's what I like to call payoff. That is a literature term for those of you guys who do not know. They're not just the future. They are correction of centuries of what we saw with the reincarnations of Astra and Inger. That is why them being the first children born after the reincarnations of Astra and Inger broke that cycle is so important. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, clicking here on the left to check out the Boruto chapter review. Click here up top to watch that One Piece video that I told you guys about in the intro, or click over here on the right to check out that video from my Anime Explained channel that I also told you about.